The Galactic Concord ruled most of known space. It was not a single empire, but a council of the strongest species in the Orion Arm. Each race sat according to power, technology, and territory. The older the species, the higher the seat. The younger ones were allowed to listen, but not speak. Humanity did not even have a seat. Earth was marked in Concord records as developing, non-threatening. A blue-green world with divided politics, primitive weapons, and a short lifespan species that fought itself more than any enemy. The aliens laughed at Earth. They laughed openly. From the crystal halls of the Virex Dominion, where light bent through floating architecture, to the iron war chambers of the Car Imperium, the idea of humans as a galactic power was treated as a joke. They still used chemical rockets, mocked high-speaker Troll of the Virex, his many eyes glowing with amusement. They barely reached their own moon. Admiral Korvac of the Car slammed a clawed fist on the council table. Their planet fractures itself with wars. Weak minds, weak bodies. They will destroy themselves long before they reach the stars. Only one voice did not laugh. Observer Archivist Celuan of the Aethery watched silently, her silver skin reflecting the hologram of Earth rotating above the council floor. Her species studied probabilities, not pride. And Earth's probabilities were strange. Still, when the Concord voted, the decision was unanimous. Earth would be claimed. Not conquered. Not destroyed. Claimed. A border fleet would enter the Sol system, establish control over orbital space, and force humanity into protected client status. Earth would provide resources, labor, and data. In return, it would be allowed to exist. The operation was labeled effortless. Sol system, outer orbit. The alien fleet arrived without warning. 24 warships emerged from folded space beyond Pluto's orbit. Their hulls glowed with alien energy, smooth and flawless, carrying weapons that could split moons. Human telescopes detected them seconds later. Panic spread across Earth like wildfire. Satellites went dark. Communications screamed with alerts. Governments scrambled. Militaries raised shields that had never been tested against anything like this. In New Geneva, beneath kilometers of reinforced rock, the United Earth Defense Council convened. Screens showed alien ships hanging in space like gods. "This is it," whispered one delegate. "We're finished." Admiral Elias Rowan stood slowly. He was old, scarred, and calm in a way that unsettled the room. "No," he said. "This is the beginning." General Amina Qureshi turned toward him. "Admiral, we can't fight that." Rowan nodded. "Correct. So we won't fight the way they expect. Alien transmission, open channel." The Concord fleet broadcast a single message, translated instantly by Earth's AI. "Species of Earth. You are now under the protection of the Galactic Concord. Power down your weapons. Surrender orbital control. Resistance is statistically pointless." The message repeated. And repeated. For 3 full minutes, Earth did nothing. In the Concord flagship, Car Admiral Korvac snarled. "They are frozen with fear." Then Earth answered. Not with surrender. Not with anger. With laughter. A human face appeared on the alien display. Admiral Rowan, standing straight in his uniform, eyes sharp. "This is Admiral Elias Rowan of Earth," he said calmly. "You entered our system without permission. That's rude. You assume we are weak because we fight each other. That's your first mistake. You assume we are divided. That's your second. Leave. Now." The Concord Bridge erupted in mockery. "They threaten us? With words. How adorable." Korvac leaned forward. "Transmit warning strike." A single Concord cruiser fired. A beam of violet energy lanced toward Mars orbit, aimed to vaporize a human defense platform as a demonstration. The beam never arrived. Space twisted. The beam bent, then vanished. Alarms screamed on alien ships. "What just happened?" shouted a Virex technician. On Earth, deep beneath the surface, Project Helios activated fully for the first time. Humanity had not been idle. While the galaxy ignored them, humans had studied physics no one else dared touch. Not cleaner weapons. Not bigger fleets. But denial. Control of space itself. The alien beam had been swallowed by a localized gravity shear, folded into nothing. Admiral Rowan smiled faintly. "That," he said, "was your third mistake." The Concord fleet opened fire. And Earth answered with fire. The Concord fleet had fought 1,000 wars. They had crushed hive empires, sterilized star systems, and shattered civilizations that dared resist. Their doctrine was simple. Overwhelming force, perfect coordination, absolute technological superiority. What they had never faced was an enemy who rewrote the battlefield itself. Sol System, high orbit. As the Concorde fleet opened fire, space around Earth changed. Not visibly at first. Then sensors began to fail. Gravitational variance detected, shouted a Virex analyst. Local physics instability, this should not be possible. Energy beams curved, bent, and vanished into nothing. Missile swarms lost target locks as space itself twisted their paths. Some weapons slammed into empty void. Others detonated far from their intended targets. Korvac's claws dug into his command throne. Stabilize firing solutions. We can't, replied his weapons officer, voice rising. The battlefield is shifting every second. On Earth, in the Helios control vault, human engineers watched calmly. Dr. Leon Markov adjusted a holographic field map. Gravity lensing at 30%. Increase shear along vector delta. Yes, Doctor. Earth's defense was not armor. It was denial of reality. The first human counterstrike. Admiral Rowan gave a single order. Release the ghosts. From hidden launch points across Earth's orbit, dozens of small objects emerged. They were not ships. Not missiles. They were invisible. Concorde sensors detected nothing, until it was too late. A car destroyer shuddered. Then its hull began to peel outward, as if space inside the ship was expanding faster than the metal could contain. Crew screamed as gravity reversed, pulling them apart in impossible directions. The ship tore itself open. No explosion. Just silence. What weapon was that? Demanded Troll in horror. Ethery observer Selwyn stared at the data streams flooding her display. That, she whispered, was a spatial inversion charge. The Council had theorized such weapons. Humanity had built them. Alien panic. For the first time in centuries, the Concorde fleet broke formation. Ships maneuvered wildly, colliding as navigational constants collapsed. FTL drives failed to engage. Shield harmonics destabilized. This system is cursed, shouted a Virex commander. Withdraw. Korvac roared. No. They are primitives. This is trickery. Then a second ship vanished. Then a third. Not destroyed. Erased. Across the fleet, fear spread like a disease. Humanity reveals its mind. Admiral Rowan appeared again on the open channel. You see, he said calmly. You built stronger ships. We built better ideas. Behind him, human officers worked in perfect silence, executing plans written decades ago for enemies humanity had never met. General Qureshi spoke quietly beside him. Alien fleet cohesion dropping below 50%. Rowan nodded. As predicted. What about escalation? She asked. Rowan's eyes hardened. Let them escalate. The Concorde's fatal choice. Desperate, Korvac made the unthinkable decision. Prepare planetary strike, he ordered. Target Earth itself. Even Troll recoiled. That violates Concorde law. Law is written by survivors. Korvac snarled. The flagship's primary weapon charged, a star-cracking beam designed to shatter planetary crusts. On Earth, alarms flared. Planetary weapon charging, someone shouted. Rowan did not move. Activate Aegis. Across Earth's orbit, ancient satellites long dismissed as debris powered up. They were relics of humanity's darkest century, built not to win wars, but to ensure no one could ever end them in a single blow. The alien beam fired. It struck Earth's Aegis field. And split. The beam shattered into 1,000 harmless streams, dispersing into the upper atmosphere like aurora light. The planet survived. The Concorde watched in stunned silence. That shield, Selwyn murmured. It adapts, learns, evolves. Rowan leaned toward the camera. We learned something important, he said softly. If you want to survive in a hostile universe, you don't build walls. You build answers. The turning point. The Concorde fleet attempted retreat. FTL drives failed again. Human gravity wells locked them in place. From beyond the moon, something massive moved. A ship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Angular. Scarred. Inelegant. Human. The UNS Resolute emerged from shadow, its hull bearing the marks of old wars fought against humanity's own kind. Korvac stared at it in disbelief. That ship, it's obsolete. Selwyn corrected him quietly. No, she said. It is experienced. The Resolute fired. Not a superweapon. Not a beam. A swarm of kinetic projectiles accelerated to relativistic speed. Pure physics. Unstoppable. 3 Concorde ships vanished in blinding flashes. No shields. No countermeasures. Just impact. Rowan's voice echoed across the system one last time. This is your only warning. Leave our system, or we will follow you home. For the first time in galactic history, the Concorde ran. The retreat of the Concorde fleet should have been impossible. Yet every surviving ship fled Sol in panic, their once perfect formations shattered, their crews shaken by something far worse than defeat. They had been outthought. Galactic Core, emergency session. The Concorde Council chamber was silent. No laughter. No mockery. Only data. Holograms replayed the battle again and again, alien weapons bending away, ships tearing themselves apart, a planet that refused to die. High Speaker Trollis' voice trembled. They manipulated local spacetime as a weapon. That technology should be centuries beyond them. Car Admiral Korvac stood alone in the center, stripped of command insignia. They baited us, he growled. They let us believe we were in control. Selwyn stepped forward, her calm voice cutting through the tension. They allowed you to believe it, she corrected. Because belief shapes behavior. The council turned to her. For generations, Selwyn continued, humanity survived on a world with no natural predators removed, no global unity, no guiding empire. They evolved not through stability, but crisis. She gestured and a new projection appeared, Earth's history. Wars. Collapses. Recoveries. Innovation born from desperation. They fight themselves, she said, and in doing so, they learn every way a thinking enemy can behave. The chamber darkened. We were never fighting primitives, Selwyn concluded. We were fighting a species forged in conflict. Across the galaxy, reactions. News of Sol spread faster than any fleet. Trade routes rerouted. Border defenses doubled. Ancient empires rechecked assumptions they had not questioned in millennia. On the jungle world of Threx, warrior clans sharpened blades they had not used in generations. On the crystalline moons of Virexia, scientists worked without rest, trying, and failing, to replicate human spacetime denial. In the shadowed voids of the outer dark, things that watched empires rise and fall turned their attention toward a small blue star. Humanity's next move. Back on Earth there was no celebration. Only work. Admiral Rowan stood before the United Earth Council. They will return, he said. Not immediately. Not openly. But they will return. A delegate slammed his hand on the table. Then we strike first. Show them what happens when they threaten us. Rowan shook his head. No. General Qureshi leaned forward. We've scared them. Fear makes enemies unite. Rowan activated a hologram of the galaxy. We don't win by becoming what they expect, he said. We win by becoming what they cannot predict. Humanity's greatest weapon had never been firepower. It was choice. The offer that shook the stars. A single human ship left Sol. Unarmed. Slow. Broadcasting on every known frequency. When it arrived at Concorde space, alarms screamed. Weapons locked on instantly. Then the transmission played. This is Earth. We do not seek conquest. We seek recognition. You came to claim us. Now we invite you to speak with us. The galaxy held its breath. The Concorde responds. It was Selwyn who convinced the council. Declining dialogue, she said, would confirm their assessment of us. Reluctantly the Concorde agreed. A neutral system was chosen. No fleets. No weapons. Only representatives. First equal meeting. The human envoy was not a warrior. She was a diplomat. Ambassador Sofia Alvarez stood alone on the platform, surrounded by beings twice her height, some armored, some glowing, some barely physical. She did not bow. She did not flinch. You attacked us, she said simply. You lost. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. We could have chased you, she continued. Destroyed your fleet. We chose not to. Troll hissed. Why? Alvarez met his many eyes. Because we know something you forgot, she said. Power is not proven by destruction. It's proven by restraint. Korvac growled. You threaten us with words. Alvarez smiled slightly. No, she replied. We threaten you with possibility. She activated a projection. Human technology, adaptable, modular, frighteningly fast to evolve. Alliance, she said. Trade. Shared defense. And if we refuse? Asked Troll. Alvarez's smile faded. Then, she said quietly, we continue preparing for the war you're already afraid of. Silence. The Concorde had never been spoken to like this. Never by a species so young. And yet, none could deny the truth. The first betrayal. Not all listened. In the darkness beyond Concord borders, a faction formed. Old empires. Proud empires. They called themselves the Ascendancy. Their belief was simple. Humanity must be erased before it learned too much. As diplomats spoke of peace, war was already being planned. Peace lasted 91 days. That was all. The Ascendancy strikes. The attack did not come from the Concord. It came from the shadows. Without warning, hyperlane nodes near Seoul collapsed. Human colonies on the frontier went silent. Mining stations vanished in expanding rings of white light. In the ruins of Kepler 186f, cities burned under alien fire. Emergency transmissions flooded Earth. They're not broadcasting. This isn't a Concord fleet. They're destroying everything. Admiral Rowan stared at the incoming data. They waited, he said softly. They studied us. General Qureshi clenched her fists. And now they think they understand us. The enemy revealed. The Ascendancy fleet was massive. Older than the Concord. Crueler. Unrestrained by law. Their ships were jagged, layered with ancient armor and living weapons. They did not deny space. They consumed it. At their head came a being known across the void as Archon Vale. His message reached Earth unfiltered. Children of Earth, Vale said, his voice echoing with layered harmonics. You grow too fast. You learn what should remain forgotten. For the safety of the galaxy, you will be unmade. Humanity's darkest hour. The first battles went badly. Helios fields slowed Ascendancy weapons, but could not stop them entirely. Human fleets were outnumbered 3-1. Colony worlds fell. Millions died. On Earth, the public watched the war unfold in real time. Fear returned. Rowan stood before the council again. We cannot fight them head-on, he said. They've seen our tricks. A delegate whispered, then what do we do? Rowan closed his eyes. We show them the one thing they don't believe we have. Project Prometheus. The room went silent. General Qureshi turned pale. That project was banned. For good reason, said Rowan. Which means they'll never expect it. Prometheus was humanity's final theory. Not a weapon. A choice. The ability to temporarily uplift human cognition beyond biological limits, linking minds through quantum entanglement, allowing entire fleets to think as one. It had risks. Madness. Identity loss. Rowan looked around the room. Humanity was not built to be safe, he said. It was built to survive. The vote passed. Unanimously. The awakening. Across Earth and its fleets, volunteers stepped forward. Soldiers. Pilots. Scientists. Ordinary humans. They connected. The moment Prometheus activated, something changed. Human reaction times collapsed to near zero. Strategies evolved mid-battle. Mistakes ceased. Individual fear vanished. Humanity became focused. On the bridge of the UNS Resolute, Captain Reyes gasped as understanding flooded her mind. We see them, she whispered. All of them. Rowan watched telemetry spike beyond all predictions. Engage, he said. Battle of Epsilon Eridani. Ascendancy ships advanced, confident in superiority. Then humanity adapted. Human fleets moved like living things. Traps formed before the enemy committed. Entire attack vectors collapsed into kill zones that did not exist moments earlier. An Ascendancy dreadnought was lured forward. Space folded. Its own mass crushed it from within. Vale roared in fury. What are you? He demanded. Rowan answered personally. We are the species that learns during the fight. Alien fear becomes terror. Ascendancy commanders screamed as predictions failed. Human ships anticipated maneuvers seconds before they occurred. Feints were countered before completion. Ambushes met empty space. Selwyn, observing from afar, felt something she had never recorded. Fear. They are no longer reacting, she whispered. They are writing the future. The cost. Prometheus burned minds. Some humans collapsed after battles, memories fragmented, personalities altered. Names were lost. But humanity did not retreat. They endured. Because endurance was what they did best. Vale's last gambit. Cornered, Vale made a final move. He turned his fleet, not toward Earth but toward the Concord core. If we cannot rule the galaxy, he declared, we will cleanse it. Rowan watched the trajectory. They're going to burn everything, Qureshi said. Rowan nodded. Then, he said, voice hard, we follow them into hell. The galaxy had never seen a war like this. Not in scale. Not in speed. Not in consequence. The chase into the core. The Ascendancy fleet tore through hyperlanes like a blade, burning worlds behind them to deny pursuit. Stars dimmed as ancient weapons fed on stellar mass. Entire civilizations vanished without warning. Behind them came humanity. Not alone. For the first time in recorded history, Concord fleets mobilized not for conquest, but survival. Virex cruisers, car warships, E3 observation vessels, and human fleets flew together in uneasy formation. Former enemies. Forced allies. Seleuan watched the armada from the E3 command sphere. They follow human formations, she noted. Without question. Her aide hesitated. Because humans are winning. A fragile alliance. On the joint command channel, voices clashed. You expect us to trust them? Snarled a car commander. They nearly destroyed us. Admiral Rowan's reply was calm. No. We expect you to trust the situation. A Virex strategist hissed. Your Prometheus network. Can you extend it to us? Rowan shook his head. No, he said. It would kill you. Silence followed. Humans were not just different. They were dangerously compatible with chaos. The Battle of the Concord Core. The Ascendancy arrived first. They emerged around the core worlds like a storm of knives. Planetary shields failed in seconds. Defense platforms disintegrated. Archon Veil broadcast to all frequencies. Witness, he proclaimed, the end of stagnation. Then humanity arrived. The combined fleet translated in behind the Ascendancy, outnumbered, outgunned, and utterly committed. Rowan activated Prometheus again. This time across every human ship. The mental link ignited like a star. Humanity takes command of the war. Orders were no longer spoken. They were understood. Human ships weaved between Concord vessels, reinforcing weak points, sacrificing position to save alien fleets without hesitation. A car battleship took a killing blow meant for the UNS Vanguard. Its commander stared at the human ship pulling away. They saved us. Seleuan's voice trembled. They don't calculate loyalty, she said. They practice it. Vale's revelation. Vale watched the battlefield shift. Human strategies evolved faster than Ascendancy countermeasures. Each failed assault sharpened the next human response. They adapt like us, Vale hissed. No, faster. An ancient Ascendancy seer whispered, they burn their own minds to win. Vale smiled coldly. Then we burn the galaxy harder. The Corebreaker weapon. Deep within the Ascendancy flagship, a weapon older than empires activated. The Corebreaker. A device designed to collapse hyperspace nodes permanently, shattering trade, travel, and civilization itself. If fired at the Concord core, the galaxy would fragment into isolated pockets. Endless dark ages. Seleuan detected the charge spike. They're going to destroy everything, she said. Rowan felt Prometheus strain as millions of human minds sensed the same truth. We have minutes, Qureshi said. Rowan closed his eyes. Then we do something insane. The human plan no one else would try. Open all channels, Rowan ordered. The galaxy heard him. Ascendancy fleet, Rowan said, voice echoing across stars. You believe fear is the final weapon. We disagree. Human ships surged forward, not attacking. They charged the Corebreaker's firing zone. Concord commanders shouted in protest. You'll be annihilated. Rowan replied softly. We know. Human fleets formed a living shield between the Corebreaker and the galaxy. Prometheus burned hotter. Mine screamed. But the formation held. The moment that changed everything. Vale hesitated. For the first time in his long existence, an enemy had willingly placed itself between him and victory. They offer themselves, he murmured. The seer whispered, they are not afraid to lose. Vale understood then. Humanity was not fighting to rule. They were fighting to end the war. And that made them unstoppable. The counterstrike. As the Corebreaker charged, humanity struck. Not the weapon but the idea behind it. Helios fields collapsed hyperspace locally. The Corebreaker fired. And tore itself apart. The Ascendancy flagship imploded in a cascade of light that scarred spacetime itself. Vale's final scream echoed, then vanished. The war stopped. Because it had nowhere left to go. Aftermath of fire. Silence fell over the core. Debris drifted like snow. Human ships powered down, many crippled, many dark. Prometheus disengaged. Thousands collapsed. Some would never wake. Seleuan watched the battlefield and recorded a single line for the archives. Humanity chose extinction for itself, to prevent it for everyone else. The war ended in silence. No cheers. No triumph. Only the quiet drift of wreckage across the Concord core, and the slow realization that the galaxy was still alive. Because humans had decided it should be. Counting the cost. Earth burned candles for the dead. Cities dimmed their lights for one full rotation. Names scrolled endlessly across global networks. Pilots, engineers, volunteers of Prometheus whose minds had given everything. Admiral Rowan stood alone in a memorial hall, staring at a wall of names. General Qureshi approached quietly. "We lost nearly 40% of our fleet," she said. "And Prometheus, the survivors aren't the same." Rowan nodded. "Neither is humanity. Across Earth and the colonies people mourned, and endured. They always had. The galaxy watches." For the first time, Concord historians struggled to write. How did one describe a species that fought like a storm, thought like a machine, and still chose mercy? Selwyn presented her final report to the Concord Council. "Humanity does not seek dominion," she said. "They seek meaning." Troll lowered his eyes. "They could have ruled us." "Yes," Selwyn replied. "They chose not to." That choice unsettled the galaxy more than any weapon. A trial of power. Some still feared humans. And fear demanded structure. The Concord convened a final summit. A proposal was raised: restrictions on human expansion, monitoring, limitations on technology. Rowan listened without interruption. Then he stood. "You fear us," he said. "That's fair. But understand this. You do not survive by controlling what saved you. You survive by learning from it." The chamber stirred. A Car warlord rose. "And if you turn those weapons on us one day?" Rowan met his gaze. "Then you will already have failed. Because you would have taught us that fear was right." Silence followed. The choice that defined humanity. Selwyn spoke. "There is another path," she said. "Not control. Not submission. Partnership." She proposed a new structure. Not the Concord. Something else. The Stellar Compact. The Stellar Compact would be formed. No ruling species. No hierarchy by age or power. Shared defense. Shared knowledge. Shared responsibility. And humanity would not lead it. They would anchor it. "Why refuse leadership?" asked Troll. Ambassador Alvarez answered. "Because leaders are targets. Anchors hold when everything else moves." The vote passed. Unanimously. Humanity steps back. Human fleets withdrew from the core. Prometheus was sealed, its use restricted by humanity itself. The galaxy exhaled. But something fundamental had changed. A quiet conversation. On a balcony overlooking Earth, Selwyn met Rowan one final time. "You could have been gods," she said. Rowan watched the sunrise. "We already tried that," he replied. "It didn't end well." Selwyn tilted her head. "Your species terrifies us." Rowan smiled faintly. "It should," he said. "But not because we're strong. Because we know when to stop." The last warning. Deep beyond known space something stirred. Ancient. Patient. It had watched the ascendancy fall. It had watched humanity rise. And it was not afraid. Yet. Selwyn's long-range sensors recorded a signal, faint, deliberate. A message aimed at Earth. Interesting. Humanity prepares. Rowan received the report. He did not panic. He did not smile. He simply forwarded the data to research teams and defense planners. Humanity had learned something vital. The galaxy was not a destination. It was a test. And humans had passed the first stage. The signal did not come with threats. It did not come with fleets or weapons fire. It came with certainty. The ones between stars. The message repeated across deep space arrays, simple and ancient. We observe. We evaluate. We decide. The galaxy trembled. Selwyn recognized the pattern immediately. Her species' oldest myths spoke of them in quiet warnings. Beings that emerged only when a civilization reached a dangerous threshold. "They are the continuum," she told the Stellar Compact. "Not conquerors. Not guardians. Judges." Entire empires had vanished after drawing their attention. The final test. The continuum did not attack. They waited. Their constructs appeared at the edge of known space. Vast, impossible geometries that ignored conventional physics. They observed trade routes, military drills, and diplomatic sessions. And always, they watched Earth. Compact members panicked. "We must arm everything. Prepare Prometheus again. Strike first." Rowan refused. "No," he said. "That's exactly what they're testing. Humanity's answer. Instead of weapons, Earth sent archives. Art. History. Failures. Wars humanity regretted. Victories that cost too much. They sent proof of restraint. And a single message. We are dangerous. That is why we choose responsibility. The galaxy waited. The continuum speaks. At last the constructs moved. One entered Sol. It stopped beyond Earth's orbit. Every defense system locked on instinctively. Rowan ordered them powered down. Gasps filled command rooms across the galaxy. Selwyn watched, breath held. A voice echoed, not through speakers but through thought. You are incomplete. Rowan answered aloud. So are all things worth becoming. The presence paused. You burn your own kind to survive. Yes, Rowan said. And we mourn them. You could dominate. Yes. You choose not to. Yes. Silence stretched. The judgment. The continuum delivered its verdict. Apex species are not defined by strength. They are defined by restraint under strength. You qualify. Across the galaxy, shock rippled. The continuum withdrew. Before leaving, they left one final truth encoded into human science. Knowledge of limits, not power. How to stop. How to prevent civilizations from destroying themselves. A gift. And a warning. The galaxy changes forever. Humanity did not claim supremacy. The galaxy claimed it for them. Trade routes shifted to pass through human space. Disputes asked for human mediation. Military doctrines studied human adaptability as the gold standard. Children of other species learned human history in their academies. Not as conquerors. As survivors. The last scene. Years later, Rowan stood at a memorial overlooking Earth. Selwyn joined him, older now by her species' measure. You are what the galaxy needed, she said. Rowan shook his head. No, he replied. We're what the galaxy earned. Above them, ships of countless species moved together in peaceful traffic. Humanity had not become gods. They had become something rarer. Trustworthy power. Final record of the continuum. In the silent depths, the continuum archived one final line. Humanity. Apex not by dominance, but by choice.